if you hold XRP and you watch these kind of stuff coming up all around the crypto Twitter, and you have confusion. Now, most of us who have XRP know what that technology is. But if you have that doubt after watching all the stuff coming around you, you definitely need to understand what Lightning Network is, how it works. I can say yes, for ancient layer 1 Bitcoin, this layer 2 gives some advantage. The scalability, low transaction fees, all of those comes, I agree, but you can never compare that with XRP. Now I'll actually take you through all this stuff, highlighting directly from the Lightning Network, their details, then you go to the docs from the Lightning Network engineering, you go to all of their stuff and learn from them what that is, literally compare it with something which is existing in the market, which you really don't need all of this stuff. Now, what they're really doing here is taking, say, a fiat problem into a crypto problem. Yes, they moved that system here, they at least tried to, but you still brought all those issues which existed there here. Now, if you have confusion, don't worry, we are going to take you through that. Now, in these examples, while they try to give you this, they kind of give it so easily. Okay, you just have to make a channel and payment channel in Bitcoin Lightning Network and do buy your coffee. Great. Now the issue there is, to create that channel, you need nodes. You need to run the nodes on that one, right? So if that network need to work, it works in a way that it's a bilateral relationship. So you're going to buy a coffee, you need to have a channel with that provider. So one, Lightning Network channel is two-party transaction method in which parties can make or receive payments from each other. So this layer 2 definitely gives scalability for the BTC. I kind of agree with that. But now one of my normal question to you is, how often do you actually go to a Starbucks to actually get your coffee? Say, if I'm putting that to perspective, say $5 a coffee every other day, or a little bit gap here and there. Say we have 365 days, but you're gonna go there 150 days. Okay, put that into perspective. You get like $750 for coffee from that particular shop. Great. Now, the issue here is when you come look at what you need to open a channel, to run that node, to open that channel, you need to fund that with 0.035 BTC. Fine. So 0.035 BTC into current price somewhere close to 40,000, which is like $1,400. So you literally have to pre-fund that particular channel with that amount for you to buy coffee. So you are literally pre-funding for 2 years of your coffee. Now, is it just that? To make that transaction, you need to run that stuff. So there are additional costs about that stuff. Now, is it just that? No, because first, to pre-fund that node, that stuff, you need to actually move Bitcoin from the Bitcoin network to Bitcoin Lightning Network. So you have a transaction fee there. Yeah, compared to 214, now it's reduced 175. But still, this is the data. It's here. It's not that old. That's a lot of money for just buying a coffee. Now, when you go to the grassroots of this, yes, they kind of give you that idea, okay, this is how it works, this is going to work perfectly, this technology has been used other way. Say they kind of show you the technology which is being used by the Tor network. Now, it has a lot of use case, and here it brings in a lot of issues. I'll actually take you through that, don't worry. Now, when you actually look through this, you are like, okay, I now understand there are some issues, and then you literally have to move from one nodes to another, which they call the hops. Fine. And each time when you do that, you kind of have to pay. Now, they won't directly tell this to you in one way, but you do understand this. Since every single jump between nodes cost a fee, having more channels increases the efficiency or reduces the cost there. So you cannot send this transaction outside the network. You still have to be in the network, pre-fund, and put the money in. So if you are someone who is buying coffee from this shop, groceries from that shop, you literally have to maintain a lot of different channels to do that. Now, you just look at what you have here with RippleNet, with XRP Ledger. You look at that and you're like, okay, fine, I kind of completely get this. Multi-hop is a feature from Interledger protocol, great, but you directly can send your transaction to someone else outside that network. Now, the highlighted part here just shows how the today's stuff work. Take that into account, how today's stuff work. That's so important because in today's world, you need a bunch of bilateral relationships. The fiat stuff is being brought here, and that fiat stuff is going down. Why? Because of the same exact reason. Now, let's detail through that and then go on to the price and analysis. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. The macro news perspective and all is great. It's looking good. But the price doesn't actually look good. It's not even close, right? We are down massively. We are down below 40K. And we are looking at this particular trend line as a support on the shorter time horizon. Then you step back to look at what's the resistance zone. And you're like, okay, the previous resistance zones happen to be here. Then it's acting as a support. So you are literally looking at this particular range for the price to actually bounce. Because if it happens to bounce from there, that's actually a good news. If not, we have big pain. That's going to go drop towards 33K. But the chances of price coming to 38, doing all this kind of capitulation in the market when big guys are entering is normal. They really want to enter at low price. See, they won't actually tell you, like, I'm going to buy in here $100 million, blah, 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 and then just push the price up for you to take profit. That usually never happens. What they do is they say, okay, we are going to buy this much, and they push the price to the downside, buy it. Literally, they buy it. So that is what happens in the market. Now, let's come back into this one because a lot of people still have trouble in understanding what it really means. Because right now, on the other side of this, you have a technology which is bringing value to a ton of solutions. Now, there's a lot of problems and you need solutions for all of those. And that's happening. Now, you come here and you look at this particular example. Say Mike goes to a local coffee shop every day and wants to pay in Bitcoin. So one, you need to be going to that particular store every other day or every day. Otherwise, creating a channel for that won't make sense. Right? Yeah. So if you are going on a vacation to some other region, a different province, it doesn't make sense for you to make a channel there, putting up this money there to buy a coffee. That is not something which you really want to become a worldwide payment system. So when these guys talk about Bitcoin becoming the reserve currency, Bitcoin payment lightning network becoming the base financial network, they really don't understand how these stuffs work. Because each hop through a channel require its own fee. That's easy, right? Because if you actually look at how this is created, okay, for privacy purpose, that works fine, right? They kind of look at the Lightning network, uses onion routing from the Tor network or similar to that of Tor network, which is a privacy-based encryption. That's all good. But the issue is each layer when you go through and hop through, you literally have to pay that fee, right? So you do this. Now, to get that jump, reduce the noise you go through, and you need a lot more channels to be built on that. And to build those channels, you literally need that money to be funded inside it. That doesn't actually sound like a solution for me, because say this is a research article suggesting how to improve this stuff. Now it's a bit old. These guys are suggesting, okay, you can actually do these to improve this situation. Then you go on to the Lightning Network right now and see whether that has been done. For me, after reading this, I understand no, that has not been done, because this is directly from their website. Two nodes can open a payment channel with each other. So how do you open a node? Blah, 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 blah. So you do all this stuff to buy a coffee. And that too, after pre-funding your coffee for 2 years. That really makes sense, right? Anyway, now when you come back to this particular example, then you read through this. Every single jump, you are paying more money. And one of the important factor here is having more channels available increases the chance of finding more efficient route to the transaction destinations. Now, one of the bad stuff which I personally think is, say, if you have $1,000 worth in Bitcoin, you can move $1,000 worth in Bitcoin. If you don't have that much amount stored in your wallet, you can't do that. Say, for example, right now the average funding amount is this. Whatever amount is in that channel represents the maximum value of any transaction that can be routed through that channel. So even if you say we have this much number of channels, think how many of them would be having big amounts there. How many of them would be having, even a moderate amount? Say, to buy a coffee, to buy a grocery, will you actually put in $10,000, $20,000? Unless you are, one of those whales or a great earning guy. Because if that's the case, you're already way ahead of the crowd and you don't care about these small transaction fees. You care about your convenience. You care about time, right? So if you really care about time, you're not going to this particular network. You actually go to others, because there are issues when they say it's nearly free. To the other side of this, you need nodes, you need validators to run these transactions, right? So you say to them, okay, we are going to incentivize you like this. We are going to pay you like this. So you go to their network, you go to your, the payments, the funding and all. And then you kind of understand like, okay, if you are running that node, how does it actually work? When you reroute, the nodes, the routing nodes can collect a fee. So when they say there is no fees and your transaction has to go through all this, they are doing this for money. Mostly you don't even get water for free. So in that sense, they are going to charge you. So that is where the existing solution kind of gives you that ability. Instead of going from, having a relationship with A to B and then B to C and then doing this rerouting, you don't really need this. Say, when you actually come look at this multi-hop feature, which Ripple actually talks about and give you all those details, it is big. It is really big. Say, one of the question here is, yes, does this work opposite? Say, if it actually, you can put the money outside the network, can they put from there? So you don't really have to fund that Bitcoin wallet to do this small transaction. And for XRP, you can. That's one of the ability of XRP Ledger and XRP as an asset here with this feature. Say, that's exactly right. So one of the great things about the technology that underpin this is that it works like internet. Information can go both ways. So Cambodia can facilitate payments outside that relationship into the Ripple net, and very much it actually works something close to that, which is actually a big feature. So right now, if you look at this, there are institutions using this feature to put money out, and they get the deep reach and deep access to a different region with this ability. So if you say like, no, we only allow people, those who own Bitcoin in their channel, to fund for what they have in channel, means to do big transaction, you really need a lot more onions to peel, because just using that as an analogy. Now, if you go to this and look at, now this is directly, from the topic some you are trying to research, you are trying to learn, and it's like insufficient amount of deposits on intermediate channels. Intermediate nodes cannot forward the payment due to the lack of coins. That's what come back to here. If you don't have more in your route, you literally can't fund anything about that. So that kind of reduces the speed. And the other stuff here is both of them have to be online. If one is offline, then say for example there are 10, 20 routes and one of them or two of them have the amount which you really need to push through, and one of them is offline, you now only have one. So the demand actually increases for that particular stuff. So basic stuff, basic sense, you look at this, yes, it's giving Bitcoin network revamped kind of thought process where you kind of don't have to spend that much time and that much money per transaction. You can literally do it for pennies. I agree, but the problem there, it no way comes to a real life solution for a payment infrastructure. And if you think when central bank digital currencies are going to come out, that's going to run on Bitcoin network like this, that's good. You can still believe that and sit on your chair looking at the moon. That's fine. But being a practical person, you don't want to actually think like that. You want to think practically. Being a researcher myself, I would be like, okay, central bank digital currencies, they are thinking about it on a wholesale narrative majority and then the retail one. In both cases, you don't actually need solutions like this. You need solutions like this, where you can kind of enter the network, move through it, exit directly. You don't need to actually pre-fund all those stuff. And that's one of the reasons why this is going down. You don't really want to pay fee to every nodes which you are running through. Now, those people understand this will get my point. And to read all of this, I'm going to drop all of these links in the description so you know what we are talking about. Now, going back to the price, it doesn't actually look good, does it? No, at least for me, it doesn't actually look good. But what we have to understand here, short-term fluctuations will always be there. This is the market, whether you have good news, bad news, it always kind of goes against you. Now, one of the stuff which we can look at is like, okay, if there is a trend line like this, what am I looking at? This is the price structure. It's coming back down. Yes, we had a breakout before, which was invalidated. We came back down. That was too much in Bitcoin. And then you go look at XRP. You kind of get a double top narrative where you're coming back to that perspective. The point, your neckline. If you break that one, that's gonna hurt. Now, we didn't sell a huge amount of our XRP, but we took some out here. Now, you moved into other assets, they dropped. So it doesn't make too much push there, but the nodes you moved to and the staking projects, which actually give crazy returns, they are working fine. You are taking the rewards out to move into assets which you think is undervalued right now. Because if you see the panic in the market happening like this, you go look at the Ether, you go look at the Bitcoin, you're like, okay, Bitcoin is coming close to its support, fine, but Ether is no way close to its support. If it's to break, that's going to come all the way down. But if Bitcoin bounces, it can literally hang on to this short-term resistance support range and bounce. But if Bitcoin breaks to the downside here, then you are literally looking at other range. This horizontal range as your first level of support, and then this one. So you have way to the downside. Now, crypto is a space where you definitely see all this happening very short term. You don't actually say, okay, we are not going to do this. Even though you believe in the technology, the status quo won't allow you to get accommodated so soon, and we are observing how the case is moving. Now, if you've been in the space and you're looking at what's happening with the SEC, you get the clarity. This is going to end, and this is going to end on a positive note with all this information out there. So now, okay, you broke this particular neckline. So now what? So zooming in to actually understand what's happening outside this. So this is the pattern which you're forming. So inside that pattern, if you break down, you're coming all the way back to 0.6, 0.58, that range, because the price can still wick lower and go high. So that means 0.55, 0.54. So if you are in a leverage trade, that's going to hurt you. This is one of the reasons why we say invest and dollar cost average into your positions and use these node projects when they really exist to take out that reward and fund your money. So once you take out, say there are projects which give you 100% a month, 35% a month. It depends on different projects, right? So when you actually get this every month, you kind of now know, okay, where I'm putting my money in. If I really want to buy more XRP at 0.7, 0.5, whatever price you want to, you can actually do that. Now, this also gives you that ability. Say you literally have to wait 30 days to get a decent chunk of reward. So you will wait. Otherwise, you're taking this and putting everything into the market. It's done. Then the price drop 10-15% again. So it's hard to wait because patience is hard and we don't know what the market is going to bring. So now in this daily chart, it seems okay, you have that support range there. So you're kind of slowing down to look at, okay, where would be my macro support be? Now, as you zoom out and look at the macro perspective here, yes, the price went up. It tried this bull market but got rejected. Now the moving average is rejecting the price. That's a 20-day moving average. You can just come here, look at that on a 100-day moving average, which on a long term works, or 200. So this is your support range, which you can anticipate it to be, which happens to be the 100-day moving average. So now you are looking at a range of price action where people had bought in before. They were buying huge, heavy. So you bounced. It was a resistance before. So you literally want that to hold. Because if not, then your trend line, which you can actually draw connecting all these supports, you're going to break through that. But if it holds, because it did hold for a long period of time, if that holds, then it's actually a positive news. It's actually a trend line support. It's a horizontal support and the moving average, 100-day moving average. So if we happen to bounce from there, it's great. If not, the double bottom is breaking to the downside. You're looking for 0.5, 0.55, that range. Now, that's the market. It's really kind of, the market can be rational for way long time and, it's hard to stay solvent. That's one of the reasons why we say stay liquid. Keep dry powder. Put investments which can drop you passive income. And that's what we do in our group. Like, we talk about all those possibilities. We talk about what I do, how I manage, and how I actually buy these bottoms, where the fund comes from, right? So these kind of give you the ability. And if you are looking into the market and you want to look at different assets which are nearing the bottom with this drop, the support, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. And that gives you an advantage to understand before you make any decision. Say you bought here at 0.7, the price dropped 0.68. Now you're going to buy there and it drops. Who knows? For XRP, no, the price support is close to this. So if you're buying, that's in an anticipation that the price is going to bounce from here. That's okay. You buy in the support. We don't know whether it's going to bounce or not, but we look at the history of price fluctuation. And if that's been respected over a long period of time, okay, that tends to be a stronger support. So that is what we are looking in the market. Now, market may do all those crazy stuff. We don't know. We are trying to stay alert, be prepared. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. And I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.